All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another 37 trillion minutes of land investing value. I don't know what we're calling this video. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna smoke a cigar. I'm gonna recap our mastermind. We just hosted a 3-day mastermind here in Las Vegas. It was insane. Both for LIA members and for outsiders. We probably had, 150 to 175 people there this weekend. Amazing guest speakers and just amazing weekend. So I'm gonna recap that. I'm going to share a lot of personal stuff in this video beyond land investing that I learned, that I experienced this weekend, some thoughts that I've been having, and a couple really cool announcements. So stick around. What I'm going to do though, before we get started, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted from this weekend still. My brain's a little mushy. But before we actually kick this off, I want to let you guys know, in the description, we release a bunch of free resources. So I've created free infographics, SOPs, our purchase agreement, free webinars. We have so much free material. If you go in the description, you'll see there's link after link after link after link after link. So don't pause the video yet. Go after the video, go click down there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, give it some love. I do like to smoke a cigar during these long chats. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So if I'm pausing for a moment or whatever, just bear with me. I'm probably taking a puff on this thing. And some people give me flack for it. Oh, you shouldn't be smoking cigars, yada, yada, yada. Well, the truth is I don't drink. I don't really do much else. So this is a little vice for me. And I absolutely love smoking these things and just talking, just hanging out, just being real. We actually got about 60 cigars delivered to us on Sunday, the last day of the event. Everyone that wanted one was smoking a cigar. We had probably 100 people floating around, and half or more of them were smoking cigars. And there's something about talking with a cigar or nicotine or what have you that to me is so beautiful. I feel like it really opens my mind up. I make quicker connections. I'm a little more open. My guard's a little bit more reduced. There's just more of a flow. And what I love about cigars in particular is that they're such a slow burn. Vapes or cigarettes, it's just kind of not my thing. It's just and it's just a boom, whoa. Well, this is a slow burn, and so you get 30 minutes or 45 minutes or even an hour sometimes with people, and get some of your friends together. You all smoke, you all talk, or in this case, talking to hundreds of people on the internet through my phone. Either way, I love having a conversation smoking cigars. So we hosted our second year's mastermind this year here in Vegas. Now for all the attendees, you guys are gonna be getting all the recordings from the guest speakers. If you weren't there, we are releasing the recordings. We're not releasing them on YouTube like we did last year, okay? These will be paid. It's $3.99 to get access to them. We spent right around 6 figures on this event, and we lose money on every one of these events. So this year, we can't afford to go and keep on releasing them for free on YouTube, unfortunately. I like to give as much as possible, but I also have to be mindful of making it somewhat justifiable to keep on running these events. And these events, I don't really pitch. It's not like a sales funnel for us. I literally go there to create a space to where we can connect, and hopefully we can bring some really good content together. And what's funny is we have a bunch of people that are like, Sumner, you should be pitching at these events. You could make so much money. You should get on stage, go hard, get 25 people or 50 people to sign up for LIA, make them a crazy offer. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I think at every event, you're always kind of okay, when's the pitch coming? When's the pitch coming? It's just not my style. Now, sure, we had some advertisements and some booths for the businesses that I run, Land Insights, LIA, and then Land Emails, which is a cold email agency we just released for generating big seller leads, big deals via cold email. Now, we got the booths, we got some free resources. We gave out a bunch of free swag, we have free Land Insight maps, some really cool stuff. But again, it's just not my style. I'm not here to pitch. So with that being said, in the coming weeks, you guys can get access to all the guest speeches. But let me talk about what I learned in these guest speeches, okay? Couple things. What I keep on being reminded of is my job as a coach and my job making these videos and my job just talking to people in this land business is often just to reinforce what they probably already know they should do, okay? For a lot of the new people at this event, it's send more marketing. And a lot of times they already know that, they just need that reinforced. They need someone to say, do it, Just do it. Yes, you're correct in your thinking. It's been validated. Now do it. And that's powerful, right? Same thing. There's a lot of people here that are 3, 4, 5 years in, and their team is all effed up. There's no leadership. The team is all discombobulated. And so I'm like, look, you need to give your team autonomy. You need to find the right people. You need to build out your SOPs. You need to have some culture within your business. These are all things they already know. So just do it. On this same side of the coin, we had John Jasniak present here this year about subdivides. He's presented about subdivides many times, so have many other people. Subdividing land, especially as a minor subdivide, is really simple. So just do it. You know, a lot of times what we don't need beyond our first few years in this business is more strategy. It helps, and there's a time and place for it, but more times than not, we need to stick to the basics and do the things that we're probably not willing to do because we're scared or whatever it may be, but you already know what that thing is. And so I think a lot of people leave these events less so with like this like crazy idea they've never thought of, and we had some of those and I'll talk about them, but more than anything, they leave with like a newfound confidence in doing what they know they needed to do anyways. And that's powerful. You can't discount that. You know, sometimes I feel like a schmuck because inside of LIA, I'm like, I'm going to tell you what you already know. And that's okay. And that might be the most powerful thing that you hear in our 12 months together. It's less about the theory, it's more about actually taking action. And unfortunately, there's a lot of folks that just don't have a propensity towards action, you know? And I mean this with no disrespect at all. There have been people that have been sitting on the fence for 6 months, for 12 months, or even longer about joining LIA. What I know in my heart, going to these events, hearing from our members, hearing from other coaches in the space, everyone, without fail, knows that we have the best program for brand new land investors. Like, it's just not, there is no comparison. There's no program that has a 6-figure guarantee like we do, no program that has the level of support that we do, and no program that has the kind of community that we do. And that's just a known thing. And yeah, I still talk to people at these events that know that, but their propensity to action is so low that they can't jump, right? And we all have that in certain areas of our life. I have that in certain areas of my life. There are constantly things I'm denying on my to-do list or my macro to-do list because I'm scared to do them. You know what I mean? So we all have that in some fashion. We all have some fear of committing to certain areas in our life. And so sometimes what you need is that third party to be like, yes, that is the right idea, so now just do it. Now on top of that though, there was some really cool strategies shared, okay? One of them, we had Jerry Danglish, who's his first time speaking on stage. You guys know Jerry, Mad Viking Land Company, an OG inside of LIA, an OG inside of Land. And he shared some really crazy stuff about how he does his marketing to find monster deals. He had a campaign that had a 16,000% ROAS, $1 in, $16,000 out in the back end, almost $1 million deal. He shared exactly how he did it from A to Z, super detailed. Again, those strategies are powerful, but I think folks like over-index on them and they lose sight of the stuff that they know they need to do. Now, I spoke on Saturday, and what's interesting is last year I didn't even speak at my own event. I was so worried about things not working that I was kind of like the guy in the background and emceeing and making sure everything was going smoothly. And this year I said, you know what, I don't need to do that. I have an amazing event planner, I have an amazing team, and they're like, we got it, you go speak. So it was the first time I ever got to speak at one of my events. I was the last person to speak on Saturday. And it was so amazing. It was so amazing. It was so fun. And I got to speak about something that I don't think anyone else has ever talked about at an event. And so here's the thing. And I mean this with no disrespect, and we even do it as well. At a lot of these events, everyone talks about the same damn thing. How to do marketing, how to find sellers, how to sell your properties, how to find realtors, how to do subdivides. And that's okay. Everyone talks about it though. So I said, I want to talk about something that's never been discussed at a land event. What it actually means to become a leader, and what it actually looks like to run a land team, and exactly how I run my business A through Z. And on top of that, all my failures as a leader, whatever that means, right? And so we talked about becoming self-actualized. We talked about the fact that no one will ever listen to you until you become a person worth listening to, which in my opinion means walking the path of self-actualization. I'm not going to go through all of that here. But let me just frame it like this. Imagine you're walking down the street and a homeless person says, I think you're going to be successful. You say, oh, that's nice of you, but probably doesn't really hit home. Where on the flip side, if you're walking the street and someone that you really respect, say Elon Musk comes up to you and says, I think you're going to become successful. That's going to hit on a whole different level. And part of being a leader is being able to see the potential in someone and pull it out, right? Giving them the container and the space to become the best version of themselves. But that's only possible if you're the kind of person that they're going to actually listen to. You have to have the characteristics of being someone that's worth listening to. We talked about that. We talked about all the ins and outs, how I run my meetings, how I run my Slacks, how we do our daily reporting, all of it. As you guys know, I like to over-explain things. So we went into very nitty gritty detail on all of it. And all my failures as a leader. And there's 10 that were super relevant to me right now. Many more than 10, but I broke down all the things that I'm doing wrong currently. And just opened up the full kimono. It was awesome. It was really awesome. And I think it was a subject that's never really been broached. Now, for a lot of people, the event's not relevant. I understand that. There's probably about 50 people in that room that was really meaningful and like powerful for. The other folks, it's probably a little too far out. Like that's maybe a year from now or 2 years from now. But that was what was on my heart. And I was hemming and hawing, like, what the heck do I talk about? There's so many strategy things I could touch on, but that felt the most meaningful for me. So, what was really interesting this weekend though, on that note of leadership and building a team, I really this weekend got to feel the full effect of what that actually looks like when you've built a culture and a team of savages. From Amanda, our event planner, to Juan, to Justin, to Aries, to Ari, to Rylan, to Michael, to Dan. I mean, it's on and on and on. The people I get to work with are so fucking amazing. And it's like when you go to one of these events, you realize that my part is so little. And if you were there, you probably saw that. My impact here was minimal. It's the whole team. And I don't know exactly how I've become so fortunate in the sense. I don't know how to reverse engineer that perfectly, but goddamn do I feel fortunate. And one of my big takeaways recently is like, I want to do life and business with people. I don't want there to be a separation. The people that I love in my life, I also want to do business with them. And the people that I do business with, I better love you. Like I want to have a relationship with you outside of work. I want you to be an ally, a friend, a compadre, like all of it. And I felt that this weekend in such a big way. And it's like, to grow something impressive and to do something meaningful, you're never going to do it alone. I just don't think it's possible. And so if you want to go far, like you need people in your corner. And I feel so grateful. Like I don't want to just be sappy, but I feel so grateful to have that. And even beyond that, just to have the friends that I have in this space, to have people that are willing to fly out to come and pour into our community. People like Ajay, I mean, that guy just goes above and beyond. If you know Ajay, you know what I'm talking about. That guy is a fucking light in this industry. He is one of the rare people that I would stand behind anything that guy does. There's not a lot of folks I would say that about in this space. Ajay, I don't care what it is he ever works on, I will always back it, promote it, have nothing but good things to say, because that's a guy that has everyone's best interest in mind. I love that guy. People like Jerry. I mean, like people like Rylan, people like Dennis. I mean, it's just unbelievable. People like John Jasniak. I mean, these people that are just so willing to give with no expectation in return. The truth is, I don't pay these people, right? Like, they're just willing to give. And I also feel so fortunate that somehow I'm in a place where I know these people and I get to work with these people. And if you were one of the guest speakers at this event, seriously, like this would be nothing without you guys. And I am on a mission to build the best, the go-to, the #1 land event every year. You can bank on it every year. Las Vegas in October. I know some people don't love Las Vegas, I'm sorry, but every single year in Las Vegas, I want this event to be the gold standard. I'm gonna make sure this is still recording. Yeah, we're good. And I think we're getting there. Now, there's a lot of things I need to do to make it better, I understand. Every year I walk away with a list of learnings, and I won't go through all of them here. But I've learned a lot, and we will continue to make it better. There's a rooster over there. Now on top of that, one of the biggest requests this year was to do an international event, a side quest event, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. We're never gonna turn off our annual event. But people want me to do side quests. They want me to do an event in Bali, whitewater rafting event in the mountains in Colorado, like 1,000,001 different requests. But what I really am hearing is people want a high level, tight knit, like strictly VIP style mastermind. And it's probably gonna be international, it's probably gonna be Bali, and it won't be cheap. Like there needs to be a pre-qualifier because what I've found is to make these rooms as valuable as possible, there needs to be a big hurdle that people have to jump over. That's just the truth. And so this wouldn't be for beginners. But I think I need to do it. I want to create a really cool in-person, true mastermind. Not just a big event, but a true mastermind. And I think we're going to do it in Bali. And when I say I'm going to do it, I mean we're going to do it over the top. 5-star hotel, gyms, ice baths, saunas, surf lessons, ATVs, hiking volcanoes, snorkeling, island hopping. It wouldn't just be land. It would be a lot of adventure, 60% adventure, 40% deep dives into people's businesses, 40% just getting in the weeds, like having a space to where we can spend a week together to open up the kimono, not just doing big speeches on stage. God, this rooster is driving me nuts, man. This rooster wakes me up at 5 a.m. every day. It's ridiculous. And that's one thing on a totally separate note. I don't know how you sleep during event weekends. These weekends take such a toll on you. I mean, I probably got about 8 hours of sleep this entire weekend. That's the only downside, is you are so cooked. And so today's Tuesday. Yesterday was my first day off. Not really, I still worked and had the LIA call and all that stuff, but I'm feeling better today. But boy, these things are such a high. I mean, it puts you on such an emotional high. It's almost like the human brain wasn't meant to receive so much love in one go. It's so overwhelming, the love and the friendship and the camaraderie, and hearing the stories of people that have changed their life and the impact and the domino effect, that your brain is like, whoa, and you're up here, and then you slowly come down, and you come down, and you come down, and you kind of hit this base. I'm kind of at the low right now, I'm at the dip, and then it gradually climbs, and gratitude takes over, and then your heart is full. It's more of like a calm appreciation, where you're kind of in this manic frenzy of like overwhelming joy during these weekends. And so I'm at the low, and I'm slowly climbing back up. Now, I told you in this video I'm going to get real with you, and I'm going to. One of my deepest wounds as a person, one of my biggest sore spots, is not feeling seen by my friends and family. And there's for a lot of reasons that I won't go to here. But what's interesting is that all these events, I never have my family there, and just some of my friends show up. And that was true this year. And for the friends that did show up, I can't stress how much that actually means to me. Like Matt and Seb and others that decided to show up. They're not even land investors per se. They just said, I want to be there to be supportive. I want to be there to be there for you. It means the world. And I think these weekends really show you a lot about, I guess, who's in your corner, right? The vast majority of my friends didn't show up. Even the ones that live local to the event didn't show up. Family didn't show up. And I'm not trying to leave them out to dry or anything. I'm not trying to disparage them. But it's a deep wound for me, honestly. And it's not so much so that I'm looking for the accolades or I'm looking for the good job. It's just the feeling of knowing that you've got your people there. These weekends, like I said, it's a lot coming at you. It can almost be unsettling. And so to look over in the room and to see your loved ones there, to see friends or to see family, is your anchor point. It keeps you steady in the chaos of these weekends. And it's a personal thing. Everyone else might not feel that way, and that's okay. Again, it's a deep wound for me that goes back way back from being a kid. And it brought up a lot of feelings this weekend, honestly. A lot of feelings of not feeling the support from the people that you want support from. And that's okay. I mean, again, like, life is feeling the full spectrum of emotions. But I also think it showed me a lot of things. Like, I tend to be, I'm going so personal, I don't know who cares about this, but I tend to be loyal to a fault. And I had this like mega realization this weekend. There's just like a smack in the face that it's okay to create separation from friends or people in your life where it's not reciprocated, where it's just the relationship shouldn't be what it is, but you're sticking in it because of loyalty. And I have so many amazing people in my life where my energy should be getting directed to those relationships. Why am I misdirecting my energy to places where it's not reciprocated? And I don't know who cares about this, but maybe you feel that on some level in your life. And as I become busier and spread more thin and juggling more balls, it's like, let me put my energy in places where there's reciprocity. And that really hit home this weekend. Again, I just want to thank everyone that was there for me this weekend. Like I can't stress how much it means to me. And again, it's not just for the positive recognition or the accolades. It's that anchor point of knowing you've got your tribe there or your group there. That means the world. Like, seriously, it meant the world. Now, one thing that's interesting, I see this a lot with folks that are just getting started in land and in entrepreneurship. In the beginning, and maybe even beyond the beginning, maybe just forever, like your biggest bottleneck is your belief systems. And if I look back on who I was 5 years ago, and the reason I wasn't doing this 5 years ago, it was because my belief system and my identity was so different. I didn't hold the beliefs that would allow me to ever do something like this. And the reason I'm not at events with 10,000 people is because I probably don't hold the beliefs currently that I'm capable of that. And so when I start seeing this in myself, I start seeing it in others, people that put these limitations on themselves because they just don't believe it's possible. And then I see it on the flip side, that people have ridiculous beliefs, and on some level they become true, you know? I have a business partner and a good friend named Mayor, okay? Mayor came and spoke with us on Sunday. He flew out for like 12 hours to come and speak. Mayor's an amazing land investor, an amazing friend, just an amazing entrepreneur, amazing guy. And him and I have been working on a project together called landemails.com. It's a cold email agency where we go and get you seller leads straight into your inbox. It's really cool. And I've got to know him better. And I just feel like there's a guy where his beliefs are so open. Like there's so much possibility in someone like that. And I'll give you an example. While we've been building this business together, he's got his own land business. They've got 15 team members. Like, he's juggling a lot. He's got a family. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a role model within his community. And he's been working on a new project. He's been working on a short-term rental project. It's like really cool glamping, glass building in the woods, like really cool stuff. And maybe I'll put the link down below. So while we've got all this going on, today he's releasing that project, okay? So they released the project today. That project got booked out into the middle of 2026. It booked out 2 years in advance, hundreds and thousands of dollars in booking revenue. And I think I've always wanted to do something like that, yet my beliefs have limited me from doing it, right? Or same thing, I paid taxes today. It was horrible. I paid what would be like a brain surgeon's salary in taxes. It was ridiculous. And I don't say that to boast at all. I say that to actually show you how fucked up some of my beliefs are. So I'm talking to the mayor, and Mayor's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, why don't you have depreciation on your books? And I'm like, yeah, I know the whole thing, cost segregation, forced depreciate. I understand all of it. I've known that for years, yet I haven't taken action on it because on some level, I don't believe that I'm capable of having and managing a big rental portfolio and getting loans from a bank and going through all that hoopla. And so I have to suffer paying way too much to the government every year because my belief system is so faulty. And here's the guy who's just proving me wrong. He's got just as much, if not more, on his plate than I do, yet his beliefs allow him to believe different things and have different outcomes. It's like, well, why couldn't I do that? And again, I think that's some of the magic of getting in these rooms this weekend or events like this. People stretch your belief systems. People that have made 7 figures in a month flipping land, where you might be doing 1/100th of that. Like, well, they just believe something that I don't believe. And why don't I believe that? And then you start to kind of peel back the layers. Now, again, I told you I'm going to be real in this video, and I'm always real, but I'm going to be more vulnerable than maybe I should, or maybe I have been. One of the most profound things in my life, and some people will disagree with that, and that's okay. I am not everyone's cup of tea. That's okay. One of the most profound things in my life that stretched my belief systems has been psychedelics. I've been doing psychedelics off and on since I was about 21. The first time, allegedly, keyword allegedly, I used psilocybin. Allegedly, this is a story, could be fictional, in Big Sur, California. I was 21 years old, and my whole entire world shifted. My ego melted away. My perception of who I was and my friends, my family, my little life just melted away. I was reunited or whatever with Source or God or whatever it was, something so much higher than me that gave me so much goddamn perspective. And as I started to kind of pull out of the peak of that experience and got brought back down into this life, this reality, this perspective, this unbiased third-party perspective on my little traumas and problems and whatever, I just started communicating with it or them, or I don't know what. This new context on the things that I experience, it just started to melt away these problems that I thought I had, and my beliefs started to change. And this hasn't always just been with outside substances. I've had this through meditation. I've had it in particular through long breathwork sessions, 45-minute to 1 hour breathwork sessions. I've had a lot of these situations where things have just started to melt away in my life. And as you start to kind of let go of this baggage and just unburden yourself with it, you can start creating room to take on new beliefs and to actually create your beliefs. And it's been so profound in my life. And so recently I had an experience with the spirit molecule. I'll let you go and research what that is and fill in the gaps, allegedly. There's a lot of research on it. You can just Google spirit molecule, you'll go down a rabbit hole. If you need a hint, think about something that's producing your pineal gland, your liver, your kidney. You'll figure it out. It's in every living thing on this planet. And it was the greatest separation I've ever had between my ego and my soul. Again, I'm going way off the rails here. I don't even know how I'm going to tie this together. But I think sometimes when we are stuck in our lives, and I'm not suggesting that people do any kind of substance. It's not my recommendation, okay? For some it works, for some it doesn't, whatever. And if your belief systems might not agree with it, that's okay. Your God might tell you not to do it. Your community might tell you not to do it. I'm not here to judge. And I hope you don't judge me as well. I'm being open and honest with you guys. But sometimes you need to remove yourself from your little identity to step out and get a bigger picture on on everything. And I think when you step out of yourself and you step out of your identity, you're able to come back in and start to kind of create what you want. And part of that is creating your own belief systems. Now there's so many layers to this. I mean, these tools are not just used to shift your belief systems. A lot of it for me is deeply spiritual. But often what I come back with is that ultimately this is just a dance. This little life here is just a dance. You are partially a God yourself. You have an element of God or creation within you, and you are here to have it experience itself, and you get to create however you would like. And you've got a lot more autonomy and agency than you would ever realize. Now, I think that we do have destinies and there's some planning for our life. I do think that our life have purposes beyond just the agency that we have. It's not one or the other, but I think a lot of people don't give them the agency that they deserve. I talked about this at the event this weekend. We brought in a breathwork instructor on Saturday because I wanted people to start off the weekend by getting themselves out of their head, stepping away from their identity temporarily. And I think we all need practices of some kind to step out of ourselves temporarily and come back in with a newfound perspective. Now, you do not need to use exogenous substances to experience that. Breathwork has been profound for me. Could be maybe talk therapy. It could be sitting in a cave for 7 days with no outside input. It could be fasting. It could be backpacking by yourself in the wilderness. There's modalities and modalities and modalities, and a lot of it can be endogenous and doesn't have to come from outside of you. But if you feel like you're carrying baggage that shouldn't be yours, it doesn't need to be yours, you need to find a way to get outside of yourself temporarily and to reclaim some of your agency in this life. And again, I can't stress just how crazy it is that a few years ago I did not hold the beliefs to do what I did this weekend. And I'm often reminded of that. I want to constantly be questioning my beliefs. And life becomes a lot more fun when we have some autonomy there and we get to pick and choose. And when we can understand that we are going to have the full spectrum of human experience. We are going to have terrible things happen to us. We're going to have amazing things happen to us. But understanding that our lives don't have to be marked by either one. Like, they're just experiences. They're just emotions. That doesn't have to define your whole entire human existence. So, I've taken a long hiatus from experimenting or exploring any of this stuff in my life. It's been years. And recently, I felt called to reassess my beliefs, and I felt called to reassess my place in this world and reassess my place to spirit, to my soul, to something beyond just my little physical day-to-day existence. So I've been exploring the Bible. I've been exploring prayer. I've been exploring meditation. I've been exploring breath work. I've been building habits and building routines around these things. And they've all been immensely valuable. Like they all play their part. But I felt called again to go back and explore things exogenous from me. And so one of the things that I'm doing when I go back to Bali is having an experience with a guided experience with a shaman, if you will, or whatever the word is, and doing it with my partner, Sarah. I think a lot of you got to meet Sarah this weekend. I hope you had an amazing experience meeting her. She's such an amazing woman, such an amazing partner. So, the love of my life, and plays such a huge part in my life, such a huge part in creating the life that I want to live. And I want to share that experience together before we take the next step in getting serious in our relationships. I'm getting to a point where marriage is on my mind, having kids is on my mind. And so anyways, I have no idea why I'm sharing this with you. Might turn some people off. That's okay. My goal is to be just me, to be authentic. And sometimes I say stupid things, sometimes I overshare, sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. But I hope you give me some grace, just understanding that I'm just a human. I'm just here to share. I want to be as authentic as possible. We've got some cool work going on in the background. One of the things that I was really struck by this weekend is oddly how impactful these stupid, silly little videos are. How meaningful these have been to some people. And I want to do more of them. I want to be more honest, more open, more real in all of them. So anyways, guys, we'll end this video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Go find all the free resources down below. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I hope this didn't ruin your day. Understand that I hold my own beliefs. You can hold your own beliefs. I hope that you can give me some grace if you don't agree with the things that I'm saying. Understand that I'm just a human. I'm walking through life like all of us, trying to figure it out. And I love you. I'll see you in the next video.